Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to see whether the options present in a dropdown sorted or not. Okay, so we will be seeing a few methods. Okay, before that, let's go into the web page where we have a dropdown. So this is our web page. So you can find the website in the description below. Okay, or you can type it chercher.tech/practice/practice hyphen dropdowns. Okay, this is our URL. Okay, so we are going to target to this animal drop down. Okay, so the animal drop down has cat, baby cat, and big baby cat, and then avatar. Okay, so this is not actually sorted drop down. So let's see how we can code to test whether drop down is sorted or not. So I have a little code, okay, basically, which is nothing but I'm just setting the driver servers, and then I'm setting the driver server path to the system using set property, and then I'm just calling the Chrome driver, and then I'm opening the required web page. Okay, so let's jump into the logic. So first, to handle any dropdowns, we have to create an object for select class. Okay, so it is like select. We have to import it. Just be careful, you are importing this org.openqa.selenium.support.ui. Okay, from this package you have to import the select class, because there are other select classes also. Just be careful. Okay, so and let's create a variable name, and then now we have to, for creating an object, we have to use a new keyword and then constructor of that particular class. Okay, constructor and class will both will have a same name, and this particular constructor accepts a web element. Okay, so just if you know just remove it, and while seeing itself, it will showcase like select web element, which means that it's going to accept a parameter which is a type of web element. Okay, so now we were trying to create a object for select class, but it accepts a web element. Now this web element is nothing but your drop down. So let's find the drop down, and then we'll pass that particular drop down into select class constructor here. Okay, so this is our drop down. Now let's inspect it. Okay, so we have id as animals. Okay, so don't worry much about the locators, because here I'm just focusing on the logic of how to check the drop down values are sorted or not. I'm not much interested in discussing about the locators. So I have given very simple locators, something like id for animals, and for products I have given like id equal to first. So we are targeting the animals drop down. Let's copy the animals, and then we have to find that particular dropdown. Okay, so dropdown is also nothing but a web element on the web page. Okay, so it is similar to normal findings. We have to find it, driver dot find element. Okay, so now we have to provide like which locator we want to pass. So it is id. Okay, now let's pass the id. So we are able to find the element. Now we have to store it, but normally I don't write from the web element equal to driver dot find element like that, because I tend to write from the left side onwards. Okay, so first I'll complete this one, and I will create a variable now. For example, element, okay, equals. Okay, this is how I try to create it. Now it will give a auto suggestion, so that from here you can pick the type. See, we got the web element. Okay, so the same element we are passing it here. Okay, this is nothing but just a variable. You can give anything. I'm giving element 1 2 3. Here you can give element 1 2 3. Okay, so this is not a big problem. Now the second part is we have to fetch all the options. Okay, so we have to fetch all the options like cat, baby cat, big baby cat, avatar. So we have to fetch these options into our code. Okay, how do we fetch is we have to use dot get options present in a select class. Okay, this is a non-static method, so we have to call cell dot get options. Okay, so what this one returns is it will return a list of web element. Okay, so similar to the previous one, I'm just not going to mention the type, but let me just provide a variable name, something like uh, options options equal to. Okay, now it will give me the, it gives that particular error, and let's create a local variable. See, here you can get the type list of web element. Okay, now we have a web element, but we want to have the options, basically the text. Okay, so we are going to compare the text only. So for that purpose we have to create a for loop, and then we have to retrieve the values from it, because now we cannot retrieve, okay, the values from here, because it returns a list. So if you try to retrieve any value, something like get text or something, those things will not present, those methods will not be present on these options, because it is a list. So it will have methods which are related with list, something like a size, and then get, and then remove, such kind of methods. So if you want to get text, we have to iterate each web element here in the web elements present in the options. Then we have to retrieve the text out of it, and then we have to add it to a particular list or something like that. Okay, for example, for, so I'm going to add for each. Okay, now I have a for each loop. So basically for each loop is nothing but iterates every single element present in the list. Okay, not in the list, basically it's basically on the any collection. Okay, so here the collection is list. So we have to provide the collection type, and then we have to provide the specific variable and then type. Now we will receive all the web elements one by one in the web element variable. So what we can do is web element. So for getting a text out of a element, we have to use dot get text, the last one. Okay, now we are able to get the text, but now we have to store this particular text in some place. It could be an array, or it could be, you know, list or set. Okay, for a moment's sake, I'm going with list. Okay, list of string. I'm going to store string. Okay, basically the text will be in the form of strings. That's why I'm giving the generic as string. Now here we can say like original list. The variable name is original list equal to. So we have to create an array list here. Okay, we are creating an array list, then end it with semicolon. So it's going to store all the elements the way we insert. Okay, for example, now if I'm trying to insert the first as a cat and then baby cat, so it will remain that order, because a list keeps the order. Okay, so if we insert cat, baby cat, big baby cat, avatar, means it will remain in the same order. Okay, cat, baby cat, big baby cat, and avatar in the list as well. So we can consider like this is not a sorted one, sorted drop on. Okay, for a moment's sake we will be considering, and we will be testing like it, like whether it is sorted or not. Okay, the end result says like whether it's sorted or not. Okay, now we have to populate the details from the drop down into this particular original list. So for that purpose I'll be using one method called add. Okay, so this add method adds all the values into a list, not all the values, value by value, one value. Okay, now it should be able to add all the values. So at this particular point of time, if you get any doubt like whether it's stored all the variables or not, you can try to print it, and then you can get to know the result. For example, we can press SYSO and enter. It will give you that that full word of system out println. Now let's print this one. Okay, let's execute. So I'm not verifying anything. I'm just trying to print the values from that list, or from the drop down, you can say. Now it's opening the browser. Okay, so now here we can see Kate cat, baby cat, big baby cat, avatar. Okay, so we have all the values in the form of a list. So we got all the values. Now we have to work on the logic of sorting. Okay, the sorting, normally people tend to write like collections. Okay, collection is a framework. Okay, collections is a class. When just a point, I'm pointing this s, when you have the s, it is a class. Okay, so it is basically, it contains few utility methods for the collection framework. Okay, collection framework contains like list, set, queue, and then those sub lists and sub classes and sub interfaces. But collections is a class which helps to, which has like utilities for the collection framework. So it has another just bring it from the java.util. You have to import it, then use sort. Okay, so sort is a method which will sort a particular list. So we are going to sort this original list. Okay, let me remove the system out. Okay, now we have the sorted list. Let's perform the assertion. Okay, we can use assert class from the test ng and then use assert equals. Okay, see, if you can see here, it can accept classes, and this is the one we want to talk about, the highlighted one. It accepts a collection. So if you are thinking about comparing two collections, something like two lists, two sets, then we can use this particular assert equals itself, because it is overridden, sorry, not overloaded with collection type. Okay, so without worrying, let's go with collections. And okay, now we need to have two lists, right? Here we cannot compare the same list. So for that purpose, I'm going to create one more list, which is called temp list, and which is equal to original list. Now let's create this particular temp list type. Okay, it is list of string. Why we are creating a temp list here is, to copy this list into this temp list. After copying, we wanted to, just sort this original list here. Okay, so here all the things on the original list will be sorted. Okay, are you getting the point? It's something like, first I'm copying the elements and then I'm sorting it. Now I'll compare the temporary list which has not sorted elements and original list which has sorted elements, because here we are using collections dot sort. Okay, now have the one is original list, another one is temp list. Okay, so just see like which is expected. Okay, it is something like, first one is actual and second one is expected. Okay, actual is your temp list. Okay, temp list is the one which is actually present in the dropdown, and the actual list is the one which is a sorter list. Okay, now just let me minimize this imports so that you guys can see it completely here. Okay, now we are trying to assert it. Let's run it. Running, just it should open the browser and the test should pass or fail. Come here. Now the test is passed. I can see in the test engine result as well, and in console also we got passed statement. Okay, so our test is successful. Okay, so you have achieved a very good level of understanding. Okay, let me go to the web page and see like whether it has a sorted list or not. This is the one, right? It has cat, baby cat, and big baby cat and avatar. Does it seems like it has a sorted list, or either in ascending or descending? See, just check. If it is ascending, first avatar should come and then baby cat and then big baby cat and then cat. If the list is in a descending order, then it comes like cat, big baby cat and baby cat and then avatar. But this list doesn't seem to go according to neither of the sorts, neither descending or ascending. Then how did this test alone got passed? Okay, so you have to keep digging in. Okay, so let me tell something, or let me introduce a few print statements here. Okay, here we have a temp list and here we have a original list. Let's print it after sorting. Okay, so let's consider this is original list. We are now trying to explore why testng have not failed it. Okay, because testng received that it is in a right format, but why? So now let's execute the same code and see whether we are able to get any whether we are able to understand anything or not. Okay, so let me rerun it. Actually, I'm not closing the browser. That's the problem, because there are 3 browsers, right? Because we are not trying to close. That's fine. Let me add a close statement also in the below. Close. Okay, ignore that close. So here we got the output. One is original list and another one is temp list. Do we have original and temp list? So original list and temp list here. Now let's see. The original list is avatar, baby cat and big baby cat. Okay, and then cat. Temp list is also avatar, baby cat, big baby cat and cat. So here the original list is sorted. Okay, here we have sorted the original list. That's why it comes according to the alphabets. Okay, avatar, baby cat and big and cat. But why this temp list is also printed like a sorted here? If you can see, it should print something like a cat and then baby cat and big baby cat and then avatar, right? But why it is not printing like that? So for moment's sake, let me add this the same temp, okay, here before sorting. Okay, this one is after. Okay, this one is also sorted, and let me add the same original list here. Original list not sorted, or you can say like before sorted. Okay, here we have original list. It is after sorted, after sorting, actually not sorted. Okay, now let me run the code. The browser is opening. It's a good sign. The page is also got opened. Nice. Let's see the output. So this is our output. So original list before sorting. It has cat, baby cat, big baby cat, avatar. And our unmel's dropdown has cat, baby cat, big baby cat, avatar. Yes, it matches. Now temp also has cat, the same thing, because here we are just trying to assign it. Here we are just reassigning the values. Okay, so it will also, I will have the same values, right? Now after that, we are trying to sort the original list. Okay, once we copy the original list items into a temp list. Here, this is the original list after sorting. It has avatar, baby cat, big baby cat and cat. So the original list got sorted. Now we have a print statement for temp list. Temp list is also got sorted. Why? Any guess? Yes, most of you guys might have guessed it, right? Yes. In Java or any other programming language, you have a concept called shallow copy and deep copy. For example, let me open Paint. Okay. Consider we have, consider this as a list. Okay. For example, we'll have cat, baby cat, big baby cat, and then we have avatar, I guess. Okay, ignore me if the spelling is wrong. Okay, so we have a list here. So what happens is we have a original list which, you know, points to this particular list. Here we have original. We have a original list. Okay, now it points to this particular list. Now we have assigned this original list into a temporary list. Okay, we have assigned original list into the temporary list. Okay, so we thought like, not we, but a few of us thought like, it has created one more. Okay, one more list contains the same values like these things. For example, cat, baby cat, and big baby cat, and then avatar. Okay, this is what we are thinking that the temp is pointing to. Okay, so this is what we were thinking like when we assign the original list into a temp list. Okay, so in actually it never creates two lists. Okay, the moment you assign the original list into a temporary list, what it does is it just, without creating another list, it directly points to a already existing original list here. Okay, now consider like if you are sorting this one, which means that you are sorting these items into like avatar, baby cat, big baby cat, and then cat, right? So what would be the result the temp list will have? Because it's pointing to the same object, so which means that it will also will have the same, order of elements, which is avatar, baby cat, big baby cat, and cat, same as original list. So if you compare anyhow or any format, it's always going to be past the test case, even though the drop down values are in a wrong format, right? Because you are comparing the same list against the same list. Okay, this list with this list itself. So how to overcome this one? So this is called shallow copy, which means that you are just going to copy the reference of this list into another variable. Okay, here we have copied only the reference. Okay, what is deep copy? There is another concept called deep copy, which means, you are copying the content of the list rather than the reference of the list, which means you will be having one more list. Okay, you have to create one more list for temp. Okay, which will contain the same values as these but in a different address. Baby cat, and then big baby cat, and then avatar. Okay, so now the temp points to another list. So if I sort this original list, it will have no effect on the temp list. If I sort the temp list, it will have no effect on the original list. So what it means is like now both the lists will have a different values if we sort one of the list, right? So that is what we want to do it. Okay, that's how we can compare two lists. Okay, so if you want to compare two lists, then you have to make a deep copy, not a shallow copy. Shallow copy means just we are assigning the values here, something like this one. Okay, so how to do it? So for example, let me reorder the logic. Okay, I am moving this little up and I'm, assigning new array list for this temp list as well. Okay, now we have two lists. One is original list, another one is temp list. Now, along with a original list in the for loop, I will add all the same elements into temp list as well. Okay, now we have original list and a temporary list. Not actually temp, it's a temp list. Okay, now I want to sort the original list. Here we are trying to sort the original list. And now what happens is we have two lists. One is original list, another one is temp list, which means like two separate objects. Okay, now if I sort this original list, this original list will not have any effect on this particular temp list. So if we sort this one, this particular thing will be sorted, but the temp list will be in the same format like cat, baby cat, big baby cat, and avatar. But the original list will be changed according to the ascending order, like avatar, baby cat, big baby cat, and then cat. Okay, now let's rerun this code and see what's the result we are going to get. So browser open. Yep, we got the output. So the output this time, you can say it's a fail. Okay, in test engine result itself it says failed, and here also we have failures because the items differ. Okay, so let's only focus on this particular output now. Okay, so first one is original list. Original list before sorting is cat, baby cat, big baby cat, and avatar. So the temp list is also the same. Okay, now we are sorting the original list. Okay, so here we have avatar, baby cat, big baby cat, and then cat. And a temp list, after sorting the original list, the temp list is the same. Okay, here don't just get confused like temp list after sorted. Here not, we are not sorting the temp list, we are only sorting the you know original list. So after sorting the original list, we still have the same cat, baby cat, big baby cat, and avatar, like this particular list, right? Here also we have temp list only, but original list, here we have starting with cat, here we have starting with avatar, which means that original list got changed. That's why it's trying to compare the first element with the first element of the original list with first element of the temp list, which is avatar against cat. So that's why avatar is not equal to a cat. Okay, so here it says the same error message that we were expected the avatar, but we received a cat as a value. So the thing got failed. Okay, this is the first way to do the operation for this particular process. So if you ask me like, is there any other way rather than adding all the elements here in the for loop? Yes, we do have. So which will be in which we will be using a tree list, sorry, not a tree list, because there is no such thing as tree prefix along with the list. So we have tree set. Okay, basically set is nothing but it will not allow duplicates, and it will store the values on the random order, the set. Okay, but in that one itself there is one more variance called tree set. Okay, tree set is something like it always keeps the values in ascending order if you are not providing any comparator. Comparator is nothing but how we want to store the values, like if you want to go with ascending or descending, such kind of thing. Okay, so we will be using a tree list. So for that purpose, I'm going to remove this temporary list. Okay, and let me remove all the temp list related. So for a moment's sake, let's keep this temp thing, and we will change them. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to create another set. Okay, set of string. Okay, we are going to have a strings. Now let's import the set. Set is an interface, so we cannot create the object. So say like temp or tree set. Tree, let's go with the tree. Okay, now we have to create object for tree set, tree, and then set. Okay, now we have created the object for tree set, but while creating the objects to the tree set itself, what we can do is we can pass the list. Okay, so from which it can create its own list. Okay, there are two ways: by passing this list into the constructor so that it creates a set with these elements, okay, with the given list elements. If there are duplicates, it will have only one elements, but dropdowns are never going to have a duplicates. That's how the developer should design. Okay, if it contains a duplicate, then it's a bug. Okay, now uh, now we have created this set just by passing the list into the constructor of tree set. So otherwise you can create another loop and then you can add them. Okay, that is also another way. Or similar to the last one, you can create this tree set before and then you can add one by one. That is also one way, but I would suggest to go with this way. Okay, just pass it. Now we have a tree here. Now change this temp list with tree, 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 and here also it's a tree, and here also it's a tree. Okay, now we have tree set. Okay, it's not actually tree, it's a variable. Okay, for example, let's change it to tree set. Don't get confused, because tree is another data structure present in programming languages. Okay, now we have tree set. So what should be the output is, first we are having a original list and then we have a tree set. Okay, tree set will have the values in the ascending order, and the original list will have the values as it is present in the drop down. Okay, now let's run it. The tree set should have alphabetically sorted list elements. It's opening and everything going fine. So now the test is passed. Let's see why. We have avatar, baby cat, cat, cat. Where did we make mistake? So trace it and original. So here we have sorted the array list. Sorry, the original list. So which means that we are, sorted the original list, but we have to remove it. We don't want to sort it because we want to have it as it is present in the web page, because we already have a sorted one with a set, right? Yeah. Now let's rerun it, because it was a wrong thing. Okay, so I'm going to rerun it again after removing the collections.sort for the original list. Now the original list will have the random values, whatever is present on the web page. Okay, I'm not much interested on the browser, that's why I'm coming back into the Eclipse. Okay, the test is failed because it is not sorted. So it's expecting cat and avatar expected. Okay, so first just check the original list. It has cat, baby cat, and then big baby cat avatar. Original list after sorting, basically not after sorting, after adding all the elements to the tree. The tree has avatar, baby, and then all the things. Okay, so here we don't have any sorting, so it's a waste of time to printing twice. Okay, so the first itself gives us the two different values, two different lists or sets containing values. Okay, now the thing is failed. Okay, which means that the drop down is not sorted. So you can ask, like, you are showing only the failure scenarios, can you show the fast scenarios? Just we want to verify it, because most of the people are skeptical about it. So for that purpose I'm using this products drop down, so which is already sorted. Okay, it has the values like Bing, Google, iPhone, and Yahoo. Okay, the ID is first, but we have to go with CSS selector. Here I'll be using CSS selectors. So let me remove these two lines. It's not required actually. It is reset original list before sorting. Original list is fine, right? Now we have to change the locator here. the first we have added, but we are going to use Css selector because there is one more element which has a first. Okay, I hope you know how to create a Css selectors. So this denotes to the tag name, and hash denotes to the ID. Okay, the space between them denotes next element. Okay, but we should not have space. Let's take this one, copy it, and verify it whether we are having a right one or not. See, here we are able to find the element, okay, which is the products dropdown, okay, without any spaces in the CSS. Now let's run it again, and this time if it is sorted it should pass, if it is not sorted it should fail. As I explained here, it is sorted, it has all the sorted values. Okay, let's run it. Okay, this is the page. Okay, the test is passed because it contains the same values. Okay, Bing, Google, iPhone, Yahoo, sorted values. Okay, even the test engine result was also showing the same thing. You can see it here. Okay, let's go back. So this is the second way. Okay, so first way is you create two lists and sort the one list. Okay, the second way is create a tree set which stores all the values in ascending order, unless we provide any comparator. If we provide comparator, it will store according to it. So this is the second way. The third way would be stream. There is a method called stream, okay, which means that it will also create new objects. Okay, for example, let's create a new value, but before that we will be using this particular original list dot, you can find stream dot, you have collect. Okay, so this is one of the method present in Java 8. From Java 8 onwards you have these two values, like these two methods, stream and collect. So which will, what it does is it will change this particular original list into a list of objects and new objects. So for that purpose, to what format we want to change it, so that also we have to give. For that we will be giving collectors, okay, it is collectors collectors. Here you can see, sorry, in the stream here you have a class collector dot to the format you want to change list. Okay, now I want to convert this particular original list into a list. Now it will return set of values. Okay, so we have to store them as well. So this is going to be your temp list. Okay, so the temp list will be in the type of list of strings. Okay, now let's change it, temp list, and then we are comparing original list with temp list. But before comparing the temp list and the original list, we have to sort them, because now the temp list and the original list are going to have same values. Okay, because we have not sorted it. So now let's sort collections dot sort. Let's sort either original list or a temp list. Okay, I'm going to sort the original list. Okay, now we have sorted. Let's check it after sorting. After sorting, so these two prints are after sorting, these two are before sorting. Let me execute it, and let's remove few lines here so that you guys can see it. Okay, this is the logic change we have made, and now we are not using set anymore, tree set basically. So let's rerun it. So this stream and collect methods are useful to create a new objects in the form of given type. So here we are giving to list. Okay, so list format we are trying to give. Now it has the Bing, Google. You can see all the things as the same because now we are using the first drop down. Okay, so because of which only the test call got passed. Okay, so here also the test is passed. Now let's change the locator into the animals, and the locator is ID. Okay, now let's rerun it. Now we should get a failure because the animals dropdown doesn't have a ascending order list or a sorted list basically. Okay, now it got failed. Let's see the reason behind it. So here it says like these two are not matching, but let's explore the print statements. So the original list and temp list both are same before sorting, and after sorting the original list, we have the original list in place like avatar, baby cat, big baby cat, and then cat here. But the temp list remains the same as before sort because we are not sorting the temp list. Now what we are doing is we are comparing this list against the temp list. Okay, basically avatar versus cat, and baby cat versus baby cat, and big baby cat versus big baby cat, and cat versus avatar. Okay, here you can see this avatar and cat both are different, and cat and avatar are different. Okay, so because of which the test fails. Okay, now I hope you guys understood the different ways to use the sorting in to check the sorting of the drop downs. One, you got to use two different lists. Okay, that is the first one, and the second one would be you have to use a tree set which stores all the values in ascending form. So now you can compare the values, and the third one would be using a stream dot collect. Okay, then we have to pass the format of output. So these three methods only will give you the exact results, but if you are thinking that shallow copy, then you will never going to get your test failed if you are using as the first method, like the list original list equal to temp list equal to original list. If you do that one, it's never going to pass. So what I was telling is like the first one, the one we were trying before, right? So it is something like this. The temp list is equal to original list. If you're trying this one, then what you are doing is a shallow copy. Okay, so you are doing a shallow copy, which means that you are going to copy the reference, not the elements. So whatever changes you make to the original list, it's going to affect to the temp list, and whatever changes you are going to make to the temp list is going to affect the original list because it points to the same list. Okay, so with all this one, if you have any questions, uh, ask me in the video or in the YouTube or in the web page. Okay, so with all that, let's see you in the next video tutorial. Something tricky one. Okay, if you want to get the answer for tricky questions, you can leave it here in the comment section so that I can make a video on that. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.